what's the difference between, well, my question has like two questions in them. My first one would be, what's the difference between a good debt and a bad debt?
So one works for you and the other one works against you, right? We know a lot, just to give you an example, we know that debt is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
We know a lot of wealthy people have no money to their name, or a lot of wealthy people have debt because it's okay to borrow money if it's working for you or growing.
Okay.
Right? Like a business, or maybe you're borrowing money to put in your RRSP, a lump sum, so you get that tax return and increase family allocations right away. Those could be immediate returns. That's not a bad thing, and it's growing in the economy and you're paying it off. But when you start getting bad debts, or even a house, real estate, right? Like what you do, it's appreciating, it's going up, right? You got the property going up.
It's actually one of the safest investment that you can have.
There you go.
It is. All right, and second to that,
I didn't tell you what a bad debt was, though.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. A bad debt would maybe be, if you don't want to put restaurants on your credit card and not be able to pay it.
Okay.
You don't want to be in debt and not to eat, right? That's something you need to pay cash. So if you can't afford it, it's cash. It's not credit. Or a bad debt would be a car, I would think, a new car.
It's not an asset. The thing is, the people, unless you have like a collections car, I don't believe that a car is any type of assets. It's always like a bad debt. That would be so true. How should that brings me to that question, because we do know that the debt per capita in Canada is incredibly high. I think it's like 50 grand per head or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. So how somebody that really wants to take in hand and take control of his life, I mean, how should that person approach paying off high interest debt like credit cards, for example?
So that's one of those really special questions, right? Situation dictates.
Yeah.
There are interesting things that you can do to pay off some of your debts. I did write some down. So it really just depends on the person. So if you want to pay off a credit card, it depends even where your credit is, because you might be, suffocating with your credit card.
Yeah.
But you might still have a good credit.
Okay.
Right. So you could leverage consolidation or something like that, but sometimes you can't because your credit drops. So another thing you can maybe leverage is like an RRSP loan, registered retirement savings plan loan, if your income makes sense. If you're at a lower income, maybe not.
Okay.
If you're above, then you can take those tax returns. So this you can leverage maybe in January, February, like right now.
So this would be like the period to invest in our RSPs, right?
Yeah, well, if appropriate in the first place, it depends on the family, but you have other things you can do too, right? So you could. There's a logical way. How many credit cards do you have? 2, 3, 7. You have the car loan. You have minimum payments, max. You have to pay your minimum payments. I forgot to mention that. Yeah. But there might be one credit card that's higher than the other. So you do want to pay all the minimum on all of them, but you want to pay the credit card with the highest interest rate plausibly first. And or you can even do balance transfers, apply for another credit card with a lower credit limit, and that's going to lower interest rates, and that could also decrease your monthly obligation and save you, make you keep a bit more money.
Or actually make you able to pay more capital that you owe instead of just paying the interest. Because, for example, if we put that into numbers, that you have a card at 20% and you're able to find a new one at 10%, right? If you drop everything there, this gap between 20 and 10, if you keep paying the same amount, you're going to be paying more capital that you owe, not capital, but debt, instead of paying interest, because it's not capital, it would be debt, right?
That's right. Okay. Sometimes you can even leverage like a cosigner or something like that, but that gets really touchy on an interpersonal level. Yeah, it is doable to get like an RRSP loan, but it depends on the person and the family interaction.
I do believe there's a saying that money is the destroyers of family. So this is something that we always need to be careful, I would presume.
That's right.